I have a question to the representatives of the Skolkovo Foundation. As you have already mentioned, Skolkovo is very closely linked to President Medvedev. And are there concerns the political support might change once there's a new president?
No, the initiative for organization of Skolkovo belonged to our President Medvedev. But Skolkovo have been born, and now this child developed. And it mostly would be, depends not who would be next president of the Russia, but it would be depend how we shall work together.
Rossiyskaya Gazeta? Okay. One of the famous journals of Berlin? Or of Germany? Or is it in Berlin or is it in Moscow? Or is it Moscow? I see.
Yes. Thank you. Я хотела вас просто спросить о конкретных направлениях, которые вы видите в современной науке, которые вот сейчас именно должны развиваться, потому что оптимизация научных направлений, она происходит здесь и сейчас. Нам были названы 5 направлений основных, конечно, но вот вы собирались сейчас именно для того, чтобы посмотреть, какие направления конкретно сейчас очень нужны России, миру, которые следует развивать, у которых есть потенциал.
The question is Moscow. You have come here to discuss the directions of science that are most relevant and that are to be developed in the future. We understand that science is continuous in its development, and we have heard about the 5 directions. But what do you think are the most topical directions of science for the nearest future that are to be developed, and from what Russia can benefit best?
My answer would be follows. The most prospective direction in science represent friend of mine, Professor Kornberg. Biomedicine, development of modern medicine physiology with a lot of applications, physics, very, very important one. Professor Kornberg, during one of his visits to St. Petersburg, once said, I would make quotation from him, that modern medicine in pharmacological aspect could not be created without knowledge of quantum mechanics. So, physics always played a very important role for many applications and even for development of new branch of science. But today, what I said, revolution in physics happened in first half of 20th century, revolution in biology and physiology happened in second half of the 20th century. This is the most important and drastically developed directions. And it's necessary to say that we have 5 clusters in Skolkovo Foundation, and in my opinion, the most successful is biomedical cluster, which headed by Igor Igorovich Goryanin. And there is plenty of field for cooperation of the people from different branches of science. So he represents the most prospective direction in science right now.
To put it another way, the previous century was properly regarded as the age of physics. Many believe that the current century will be viewed as the age of biology, and more specifically, human biology.
Yeah, exactly.
That is not to say that the physics and chemistry of the past will not play an equally important role in the future. On the contrary, what has occurred over the past several decades, what has passed almost unnoticed, almost unnoticed is the disappearance of boundaries between the disciplines. Today there is really a continuum of science, from fundamental physics to human biology, and as was so well put by my colleague Professor Alferoff, the most fundamental physics will be essential for the eventual solution of problems in human biology.
Thank you very much, Professor Steinbach.
Perhaps a brief comment from my side. Being a chemist myself, I'm, let's say, without suspicion if I bring into that game also the role of the engineers. So I think that those things which you just said are absolutely true. The other big headline, and almost no one really notices the enormous complexity behind that headline, is the question of energy. And that starts with physics, with nanotechnology, which is necessary to come up with new solutions in resource management of energy. And it goes to energy distribution, to networks, and everything else, the resource management in general. But it is all summarized on the headline of energy, from fundamental research to applied in engineering. And I think this is the second big topic, the second big leg we have to rest on in order to improve the situation of our living quality on this earth.
Let me also respond to that remark. The most pressing problem that faces all of us is that of global warming. There is no doubt. The impending catastrophe is well demonstrable by anyone who knows anything about physics and can be explained in lay terms, and has been done very well by physicists. The solution of that problem is something very specific, which must be of the greatest concern to us all. The respect in which biology will play, I think, a primary role in the 100 years to come is in regard to the solution of virtually every affliction of we humans as living organisms. But there is no doubt that without a proper approach to the issue of climate change, all the rest will become immaterial.
I am absolutely convinced that energy problem in global aspect would be solved by solar energy conversion. Absolutely. Based on semiconductor heterostructures.
Which is going to be the subject of the presentation of Professor Alferoff in the framework of the German-Russian year carried through by the two Academy of Sciences, Leopoldina and Russian Academy of Sciences, and he will give us a very specific presentation on this subject in the last week of April, and each of you, you are all welcome. Now, coming back to the subject, Alexei Bilyukov, would you like to add something else, or is everything said now? Everything is said. Okay. Now we can turn multiple reply to one brief question. Do we have other brief questions? Yes, please.
It's a terrific project, but nonetheless you compete all over the world, like China is investing heavily in science, or the Arabian states. They are trying to build up very huge science parks. So how do you want to attract internationally scientists? What can you offer them, what others can't offer them?
Well, first of all, we certainly appreciate that we're not the first one on the planet, at least not chronologically. Nonetheless, I think that there is a number of things that work for us. We provide, through the Skolkovo Foundation, we provide access to the Russian market, which is a globally important market in the area of energy, as everybody appreciates. We have been very strong traditionally in the area of IT, information technologies. Russian IT specialists work all over the world. We have been not a very big producer, but a substantial consumer of biotech products and technologies. And therefore, in the biotech area, we represent also an important market. And so on. I don't need to explain how Russia is an important player in the space and nuclear energy areas. And all of that plays to attract the scientists and entrepreneurs to Russia as an important market. Also, through the Technopark, and other means, we provide and will provide substantial scientific infrastructure by installing the equipment, by providing physical facilities to researchers and entrepreneurs who wish to work in Skolkovo.
Well, thank you very much. I think these were more or less the concluding remarks because this advisory council is here for working, yeah, and it will continue working in 20 minutes from now. And I would like to invite you to join us having a small lunch outside, yeah. And during that lunch, you can still address, if you have individual questions, address your questions to those who are sitting on the podium. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.